Guys, today we're going to talk about something we've talked about in the past. We're going to talk about the difference between the anodizing that you see on this titanium-handled Sebenza and the coating that you see around the anodizing on this Ferrum Forge Archbishop, because they're definitely different. A coating is used for materials that typically you can't anodize, and there's some other reasons. So let's get into it. I'll tell you the differences, and if you've got questions about anything I say, you can join public Discord down below that I've built. There's a link to it, and I can answer questions directly because I might not see them here in the comments section.
All right, guys, like I said in the intro, there's a video that I did a long time ago about coatings versus anodizing, and people still seem to have questions. So I've got 3 knives here. 3 of them have been coated and 3 of them have been anodized. Now there's different types of anodizing and there's different types of coatings. So this is aluminum with a hard coat ano. This is titanium with a 2-tone anodizing that I did that looks like a patinaed copper. And then this is a 2-tone blue that I did on it. Now titanium and aluminum, you can anodize very easily because they form an oxide layer on the surface. So basically what you do here is you are adding oxygen to the material that's there and causing it to oxidize and form a layer. So you're not technically adding anything but oxygen. You're using the material that's already there to form your exterior. On titanium, it's just color. On aluminum, it's a very durable, very durable finish. Type of anodizing. Now, these knives have been coated, which means that they have had something added to them physically. This is a ceramic. This also was done as a ceramic. These are electrically applied in a liquid bath and then baked on. And then this is PVD, which is physical vapor deposition, which is a completely different process. This is done in a vacuum. And what they do is they vaporize a physical, solid material and turn it into a vapor in a vacuum and deposit it on the material. Sometimes it's done with reverse ions, where this will be negatively charged and the material will be positively charged. But it's an in-depth process. But you have added something to the knife. So dimensionally, this knife is different than it was when it went into the PVD bay in the vacuum. Same with this. This is a liquid that was applied. It was electrically applied. This was negatively charged. The liquid was positively charged. You sent it to the material. It absorbed, the material stuck to it. You rinsed it off, and then you cooked on the coating that was left on, a lot like powder coat, except this was done in a liquid bath. Same with this. This is a full-on ceramic coating. The black on this was done in the same process as the black on this. So these were different ones. Now there's other coatings that are used, like Cerakote, which is a sprayed on and then baked somewhat ceramic coating, but they're definitely different. The way this is done and the way I did these are, I take the parts, I clean them, and I prepare the surface, and I have to remove the natural oxide that's going to form. Titanium forms its own native, like gray, anodized. There's an oxide layer that forms on this. So what you do is you clean the standing oxide layer off with something that's called, there's different ways to do it. You can use sulfuric acid, you can do multi-etch, which is for titanium welding, but it removes that oxide layer. And then what you do is you put it in an electric bath with a electrolyte solution, and you positively charge the part and negatively charge the bath that it's in. And what happens is it forces oxygen to form a layer on the exterior of this. Now, the thing with titanium versus aluminum, this color is the color of the oxide layer. And it's not so much that the oxide layer has a color, it's that it reflects certain wavelengths at certain thicknesses. And how you do that and get different colors is you use different voltages. As you can see, I have a purple, I have 2 different colors on that pocket clip. You can do that. The pocket clip is a different color than this. Different voltages are going to form a thicker or thinner layer and give you a different refraction index. It's a lot like, to tell you the truth, it's a lot like when you spill oil on the surface of water and you get the reflection of the different thicknesses of that oil that are reflecting the light back at different wavelengths. Same with this. Now, the reason this isn't so iridescent is this has a different finish. So your oxide layer that formed on this is green, and you're going to see that the areas that are shiny and worn are still shiny, and coming out at a different color because I used a different voltage, higher voltage, and then you go back and you do your lower voltage. Now, aluminum is different. Aluminum, you form the oxide layer with a chemical bath and you leave it sit, and it's a lengthy process. There's a lot of stuff you have to have chemical wise, but then you can use a dye and pick the color you want and get it into the oxide layer. And like I said, you can get colors that are incredibly striking on the anodizing for aluminum. Now, the thing that is different between these two, some coatings are really resistant, like these ceramics, and some aren't. You get the same thing with anodizing. Titanium anodizing does not add any protection. It is the same strength as the underlying material, and it wears off and it scratches relatively easy. As you can see, I did this yesterday and I've already scratched the anodizing on this. Hard coat anode that is on aluminum is done a completely different way. But the fact is, the aluminum oxide that you form on this chemically and physically is stronger than the actual aluminum itself. It's now a different molecule. It's aluminum oxide. Aluminum oxide is the same thing that sapphires, emeralds, and rubies are made out of, which are some of the strongest materials on earth. So when you do a hard coat anode on aluminum, not only can you get striking colors, but this is very, very resilient. This has gotten the same amount of carry as this, and it does not have any scratches. This will hold up incredibly well. People have a tendency to think that this is a coating, and it really isn't. It's anodized. So a coating can be really strong. These ceramic coatings that I have done in the past, they are up there with some of the strongest ones you're going to find. Definitely stronger than Cerakote. Definitely better than the PVD coatings you get. You can see how worn this is. I have cut way less with this knife with the PVD, which is a process, not the material. Who knows what this actual black coating is? But these ceramics are incredibly strong. Now, there's one that I do not have that is a coating as well, and it's called DLC. It is a diamond-like carbon, and it's a coating. It's added in. It's a lot like PVD, but it is incredibly, incredibly strong. And as a matter of fact, a lot like the aluminum oxide. It's stronger than the underlying material. So DLC can only be scratched, and I don't have one here, or I would show you. The DLC can be polished. It gets a really incredible good look to it, but the only way that you're going to scratch the DLC is to scratch it deep enough and hard enough that you actually remove the material that's underneath. And DLC is incredibly strong. This is about the closest you're going to get to a DLC, and you can do these ceramic coatings in multiple different colors. Now, if you're going to ask, am I still doing this? Who can I get this done by? I believe the only person right now that I know that's doing it is a guy that I taught named Christian Ortiz up at Cerberus Knives. I'll reach out to him and see if he wants me to put a link down below. I do know that he hasn't been doing as many coatings on knives, and it's not a cheap process. The stuff is expensive, but there you go. That's the difference between a coating and an ano. Ano, you're actually not adding it. Dimensionally, this knife is no different when it comes out of the ano bath than it is when it went in. Same with this. You're not adding a layer. You're simply transforming the exterior layer. Now, there's another way to do titanium. I don't really recommend it as much, especially on lock bars, and that's with heat. And it's kind of doing the same thing. But what you're doing is you're adding nitrogen to the steel. When you heat the titanium, when you heat titanium to specific levels, you get what's called nitrogen dilution, and you get embrittlement, and you can crack a lock bar. So I don't recommend heat coloring the lock bar, the lock side. You can do the front if you want. It can get you some striking results. So there you go. It is a lot of fun. And it was something that, like, I keep seeing these comments where people, even though I laid it out in that other video, are still confused. And if you have any questions about this, I have an open public Discord down below. You can always DM me and I can let you know, like, the ins and outs, the actual differences if you have questions about something I said. So guys, let's turn this around, do some final thoughts, and send you out about your day.
Yeah, guys, I mean, it's really simple. A coating is simply that. You're just adding a layer of something too. And if you're doing the anodizing, you're converting the exterior layer of something to a different material, to a different combination of materials. So you add oxygen, you get an oxide layer. I know that maybe it sounds confusing. It's very, very simple. It's an easy process to do. I mean, I can do it. So But like I said, if you got any questions about it, you can hit me up in the comment section. That's a good way. Or you can hit the DM section of that public Discord, which is a great idea. I built that because the private one that I have for my paying members is great. So if you want to support the channel, you may want to check out my memberships where I've got multiple benefits. I've got sponsors down below: Coffee Brand Coffee, Temporal Trail, Dull Strong Knives. They all are great, great companies. You can look them up. Coffee Brand Coffee, Tempered Trail, they have a discount code of Crazy Sharp, all one word. Use lowercase. You can also use that at Rosecraft Blades, Farron Forge Knife Works, and now Beyond EDC for a 40% discount through the end of December. Other ways you can do it, all kinds of vendors down below. Use that to do it. I have links with them that pays me a little bit but doesn't cost you anything at checkout. And just share the videos. That's one of the best things you could do. So happy holidays, guys. I love you all. Keep it clean in the comments section. If it's your birthday, happy birthday. I'll see you in the next video.